Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Crypto Hipster podcast, to the X Factor with the Crypto Hipster, your host, Jamil Hassan. This is the X Factor, where I bring you a weekly roundup of crypto news from around the world. And today I have some very interesting and exciting news that happened this week. First, is from a global perspective is organizations bring Africa, Costa Rica, and Ukraine to the metaverse to raise awareness. Web3 users will soon be able to experience Africa, Costa Rica, and Ukraine in the metaverse. New findings from research firm Markets and Markets predict that the metaverse market size will grow from, let's see if I got this right, 62 billion in 2022 to 427 billion by 2027, the next 5 years. So, in addition, there's another report from Juniper Research that links NFTs, non fungible tokens, and its growth to many metaverse use cases. According to Juniper, the metaverse related NFTs will experience an increase from little over half a billion transactions this year to um, by another uh, to about 10 million by 2027. So that's 600,000, not 600 million, 600,000 transactions this year to 9.8 million by 2027. A number of regions have started to establish a virtual presence, including Dubai, which announced the Dubai Metaverse strategy in July, Africa, which launched Ubuntu Land, and the a Loki Sanctuary, which is a 750-acre patch of rainforest in Costa Rica, as a project to plant more than 10,000 trees through its metaverse initiative. So, my question to the audience is, what are your thoughts on the metaverse and what great use cases do you think are possible? So, Americas, first moving on to the Americas, staying in the Americas. UBS has raised the recession odds in their minds in the survey to about 60%. And the question is, what does that mean for crypto prices? So on August 30, global investment bank UBS increased its view on the risk of US entering a recession within 1 year to 60%, which is up from 40% just 3 months ago. The latest data they showed says they have a 94% chance of the economy contracting. But the analyst who wrote the report said it does not morph into a full blown recession. Not necessarily. The problem is that companies will face diminishing earnings as surging inflation limits consumption and central banks increase interest rates. Obviously, the pressure is on corporates. Their corporate profits, it's huge, right? But they're saying it doesn't necessarily equate to crypto prices. The valuation dynamics for cryptocurrency is vastly different from equities. We know that. Corporate debt, we know that too, and the stock market. But the report claims there are no set metrics or indicators to guide token prices. And it's 100% on speculation, and that's just not true. And some excellent data intensive resources that I found over the years include Glassnode and CoinGecko, and they have a whole bunch of KPIs and all kinds of stuff that cover the crypto markets, and everything's on chain. So it's not speculative. It's if you don't understand it, yeah, okay, it may be speculative, but the fact is there are so many metrics that cover the crypto industry. So what are your thoughts on and what has been your experience using these metrics and what do you think about them? And what do companies like Glassnode and CoinGecko need to do to improve the metrics in the space? Moving on, because FBI issues alert over cyber criminal exploits targeting DeFi. The U.S. Federal Bureau of Investigation, the FBI, has issued a warning for investors in DeFi. Um, on DeFi platforms, which this year have been targeted by about 1.6 billion in exploits. Um, and in a Tuesday public service announcement, the FBI's Internet Crime Compliance Center said the exploits have caused investors to lose money, advising investors to conduct diligent research about DeFi platforms before using them, while also urging platforms to improve monitoring and conducting rigorous code testing. The FBI warned cybercriminals are out in force to take advantage of investors and the increased interest in cryptocurrencies and the complexity of cross chain functionality and open source nature of DeFi platforms. The FBI observed cybercriminals exploiting vulnerabilities in smart contracts that govern DeFi platforms in order to steal investors' cryptocurrency. So, with the Crypto Hipster podcast, one of the episodes, one of the interviews that I conducted was with Rex Highgate, and he is the CEO of DeFi Safety in Canada, and they have set up an amazing DeFi protocol rating system and reporting system. And if you're concerned about the ratings of DeFi or investing in DeFi, it's a great resource to use before you invest. Um, DeFi has to be done correctly, and I believe that his company has created an excellent tool set for the average user. Check it out. So, what are your thoughts on DeFi? Moving on, the CFTC and the SEC open comments for proposal to amend crypto reporting rules for large hedge funds. So the SEC and the CFTC have called for comments on a proposal that would require large advisors to certain hedge funds to report exposure to crypto. In a joint proposed rule published by the Federal Register on September 1st, the SEC and CFTC established a 40-day comment period for amendments to Form PF, the confidential reporting document for certain investment advisors to private funds of at least $500 million. The proposal suggested qualifying hedge funds report exposure to crypto in a different category other than cash and cash equivalents, as the current iteration of Form PR does not specifically mention cryptocurrencies. Members of the public have until October 11th, 2022 to submit comments. Do you think you'll submit your comments? And if so, what do you think about them? What do you think they should be? We're going to stay in the Americas, but go to South America and talk about Argentina. Argentina's Mendoza province is now accepting crypto for taxes and fees. In another shift toward widespread crypto adoption in Argentina, citizens from the Mendoza province can now pay government fees and taxes using crypto. The tax administration there described the new crypto payment service as fulfilling the strategic objective of modernization and innovation, giving taxpayers different means to comply with their tax obligations. The service officially began operations on August 24th, but at this stage will only accept stablecoins such as Tether for payments. No Bitcoin yet, guys. But we what are your thoughts on whether Bitcoin should be used to pay taxes or should be Litecoin or should be stablecoins? Let us know your thoughts. Staying with South America, moving on to Colombia. Ripple's plan to tokenize Colombian land has stalled amid new administration. A partnership between the Colombian government and Ripple Labs, XRP, to put land titles on the blockchain appears to have stalled following the project being deprioritized by the new Colombian administration. The project was initially announced by the outgoing government's Ministry of Information Technology and Communications just 2 weeks before the newly elected president, Gustavo Petro, was sworn into office. The interim director of the National Lands Agency, Juan Manuel Noriega Martinez has now said the project is not part of the agency's strategic priorities for 2022. So, skipping across the pond, going to Europe, Crypto.com backed out of $495 million sponsorship deal with UEFA Champions League. So it's reported it's dropped out of this $500 million deal sponsorship with the Champions League, um, basically because it was close to being signed due to its legal team citing regulatory concerns with the exchange's licenses in the United Kingdom, France, and Italy. Had the deal gone through, Crypto.com's branding would have been present for the UEFA Champions League for 5 seasons, at a cost of about 100 million per season, ending in 2027. The sports news outlet reported that Crypto.com had stepped in as a potential sponsor after the Champions League dropped Russian state-owned energy firm Gazprom in response to the country's invasion of Ukraine. So while Crypto.com dropped out of that deal, another deal is going well from what I understand, and that is the Divi Projects deal with La Liga. They sponsored that soccer league, and that's an amazing soccer league. So that's going well. What are your thoughts on sports sponsorships and the current state of crypto? What are your thoughts? Let me know. So, staying in Europe, going to Georgia. Georgia, I used to think was a state, but then I learned when I was working at AIG that Georgia is a beautiful country. Georgia has aimed to adopt European crypto standards for anti-money laundering. Georgia, one of the world's most crypto-friendly countries. It's moving to introduce new crypto legislation and regulations to pursue um, really its ambition of becoming the global crypto hub. Georgian lawmakers have prepared a new framework targeting digital business and cryptocurrency trading. A draft bill has been sent to the parliament, and amendments are expected to be passed in the autumn season, which is coming up real soon, according to the country's finance minister. The draft bill aims to coordinate local cryptocurrency laws with three major European Union directives, including the Payment Services Directive, the Capital Requirements Directive, and VASP, the Virtual Asset Service Provider Law. That's an important one, big one. So we move into Asia now. Little Asian news this week. There is one that's important, and it's the South Korean central bank eyes MICA, MICA, and says the future regulations may allow ICOs again, initial coin offerings. And I'll tell you why it's important to me after I brief you. The South Korean central bank has indicated that initial coin offerings will be allowed under the Digital Assets Framework Act. That comprehensive legislation is expected to be introduced in 2023 and implemented the following year. The Bank of Korea discussed ICOs in comments to a Korean translation of the European Union's markets in crypto asset MICA legislation released Monday. The BOK, Bank of Korea, stated that the MICA regulatory package protected users and investors without hindering innovation. A balanced approach is needed to foster a sound market through the introduction of a global crypto asset regulatory system to promote blockchain and crypto asset innovation while not hindering the development of related industries due to excessive regulation, the Korean Central Bank said. I came into crypto in 2017 and I was an ICO advisor, and I advised several ICOs globally, and this is an area that I know that can be, if done correctly, can be a great thing for innovation. Let me ask you, were you around then? What were your thoughts? If you weren't around and you heard some things about it, what do you think is possible if uh, ICOs are brought back into the space? Moving into the Middle East from Asia, Dubai. Binance Pay partnership allows the United Arab Emirates entrepreneurs to set up businesses using crypto. Virtue Zone has joined the list of mainstream businesses in the UAE, such as JA Resorts and Hotels and Majid Al Futtaim, to officially accept cryptocurrencies following the integration of Binance Pay. Binance marked its presence among the Middle East investors by running various licensed operations in Abu Dhabi, Dubai, and other regions. Targeting efforts in the UAE mainstream corporate sector, Binance has partnered with company formation specialist Virtue Zone, allowing new entrepreneurs to set up businesses in the UAE using cryptocurrencies. Virtue Zone joins the list of mainstream businesses there. So, what if Binance Pay were allowed to be global? What are your thoughts using Binance Pay in the U.S.? Right now, it's the only U.S. investors are not allowed to invest in Binance. But what if they were? What would that look like? How would that help the industry? So next and final, moving into Iran. Iran's businesses get the green light to use crypto for imports. The Iran's trade ministry has approved the use of crypto payments for imports in a bid to bolster trade in the country. The Industry, Mines, and Trade Ministry has approved crypto for imports amid ongoing international trade sanctions. The Trade Minister, Reza Fatima Amin, confirmed that detailed regulations have been approved outlining the use of crypto for and trade for supplying fuel and electricity and for using Bitcoin and helping crypto miners in the country. The Iran Trade Ministry had previously indicated that the use of crypto and smart contracts would be widely used in foreign trade by September 2022, and it looks like they're on plan and on target. So that's the crypto around the world. A little bit of crypto hipsters news. We remain committed digital sponsors to the Litecoin Summit and to Block Bali. The Litecoin Summit's October 21, 22 in Las Vegas at the Link Hotel. Tickets can be purchased at www.litecoin.net/summit. And for Block Bali, which is in Bali, Indonesia, which is a beautiful place if you like the beach, the tickets can be there. The event is November 25, and tickets can be purchased at www.blackarrowconferences.com/blockbali2022.html. And also, just this past week, we launched our first podcast of season 4. That's with Aaron Kovaliller, and he is the founder of Istanbul Blockchain Week. And that is also in November. And tickets can be purchased at istanbulblockchainweek.com. For more exciting news and podcasts and compilations, chronicles, please check out Crypto Hipster Podcast, which you're doing right now. The anchor site is anchor.fm/crypto-hipster-podcast. Thank you for joining me today, and hopefully will be joining me every Friday morning going forward. Thank you. Have a wonderful weekend.